The 20 draft, when Burrow came to Cincy, it was the day that our fortunes would change. Long was the time of cheapness and bad drafting. Then he appeared and the fans felt his word. A thrill of hope. The Super Bowl was crazy for eager fans. A true new day was born. He took a beating, then Bates would not get paid. How cheap, how cheap, oh how cheap are Browns and Blackburns. How cheap, how cheap, oh how cheap, and greedy too. Welcome to the number 1 Bengals podcast. That's right, it's just me, Daddy-O, all by myself. But with my best friends, I'm talking the Fool and Tippity Top are already here. And we're hoping to see Ceiling Cat, Andrew Seiler, all of the fans, all of my friends in the chat very soon. So, as you can tell, I'm not feeling so good. Bengals football is what keeps me going. I didn't have, hi Ceiling Cat. I did not have my share of Bengals football, even when they're losing. Just watching Joe Burrow out there makes me so happy. And John and Dr. Hoji have taken the week off for Thanksgiving. They're very grateful people when it comes to missing this show. They say we need a lot of time to thank for, just thank everybody, which is nice. But Joe Burrow, as you saw in that introduction there, he changed the fortunes of this team. And he's made it such that even though we're 4-7, I very much enjoy watching the Cincinnati Bengals. Probably the most ever. The only thing that came close was Blake Mania for me. That was very fun. But Joe Burrow is so good that his opponents, his enemies, people like Micah Parsons, who is going to play in a couple of weeks, he comes out, Micah, on his podcast, and he says, look, Joe Burrow is the MVP. If he just won a few more games, he'd be the MVP. And yeah, everybody, if they win more games, you say they're better players. But with Joe Burrow, it's like, this guy is being perfect, and it's not enough. And so all we can really say is that the defense, we hope, figured some stuff out, in the bye week. We're really hoping that happened. And there were some good signs. As our good friend Ceiling Cat pointed out, the ping pong tables are back. Now, why are ping pong tables important? I have my theories about that. Please share yours right here in the chat. I believe that ping pong, it is a sort of team bonding experience where you can get your aggression and frustration off. Imagine you slam the ball into Zac Taylor's face. It won't do a lot of damage, but you will feel something a little bit better, right? Imagine you slam it into the face of Geno Stone, who has had hands of a stone this season. He has done nothing. By the way, Geno Stone, he came out, and what did he say? He said that, look, all I can do is I'm going to take all the criticism. I get paid the big bucks, so I would take the criticism. And he said, I'm never going to blame other people. But they also said, I'm not going to go out there and chase plays. When I go out there and chase plays, it looks bad on me. I would disagree, Gino. I would say go ahead and chase plays. Why not? Maybe chase some footballs and catch them, intercept them like you did last year. But yeah, so Gino Stone has not really gotten it done this season. And one thing he did not address in his media talk was the double agent accusations, because a lot of people are saying, hey, he only signed with the Bengals to help the Ravens. Would you say, oh, well, the Ravens are a good team. Oh, they have two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. They have a good coach. They have a good defense. Why would they need to invest so much? Because think about it. What is he getting, Geno Stone? Why would they pay somebody just to go to another team and not catch interceptions? But those of you who have followed Bengals games and have seen how much bad calls go against the Bengals, I would not be surprised. There are a lot of conspiracies out there, folks. Don't let anybody tell you you're dumb for believing in conspiracies. They are out there. And most of them are about the Cincinnati Bengals. Especially now that we have Joe Burrow. The football world cannot deal with it. So, look, I want to get back to, here we have Victoria Mitchell saying, Jamar is unhappy with the play calling of the coaching staff. And that's true. Here is the good sign that we had over the bye week. Zac said, we're all part of it. That's nice, Zac. I'm glad that you, as the head coach, agree that you are part of it. And he says, I do think it absolutely turns to me and trying to find ways to continue to put us in the best positions possible, find ways to put us in the best position possible. Yes. Best position, please, more of that. Winning, getting those, like somebody said, get rid of McPherson. McPherson should not be kicking field goals in critical situations. We just can't count on him. I don't care what you paid him. I don't care what he looked like in the Super Bowl run. He is a very bad kicker in 2024. So, there you go. That is that. Now, the next item to discuss that was very hot over the bye week, I don't know if you caught it, but Bill Belichick. So my good friend, Zim Hude, he came out and he posted this. And look, Bill said, I've got a lot of respect for Duke Tobin and Mike, the whole organization. They're football people. They're straight up. You get straight answers. They're interested or not. They're not wasted time. I really respect that. In other words, he likes the no-nonsense style of Mike Brown. I will agree. Mike Brown is no nonsense because he doesn't make trades where he cannot go and flaunt it in your face and say, look at me, I got so much out of you. But hey, my good friend at cincyjungle.com, yes, I am a very respected journalist at cincyjungle.com. My good friend, Matt Minich, okay, he is a football coach, very smart guy. Matt Minich, he made some arguments for why, and by the way, Zim, who really knows football, has been advocating for Bill Belichick, and so has Matt Minich. And here's what he said. He said a few good points. He said, number one, Bill Belichick makes good trades. He knows how, like when he got Corey Dillon, look at that. Corey Dillon went to the Patriots. Bengals, when they got rid of him, he had like maybe 500 yards his last year. It was like, okay, he's almost 30. Back then, especially, it's in the early 2000s, it's like you're done at 30. But Dillon goes and he has his best season ever. They win the Super Bowl. Brilliant, right? He says he knows when to get rid of people. And he knows when to keep the good players. Like he kept Devin McCourty. And we would have kept Jesse Bates if we had a better. 100%. We would have kept a Jesse Bates if we had a better. If the Bengals front office gave him the respect he deserves and, let him make the call on the guaranteed money. I am so upset about Jesse Bates. Honestly, I'm so upset about losing. I know it's in the past, but That was a shocking move. I mean, you talk about perfect in every way as a free agent. The age, the productivity, the attitude. And anyways, so Matt Minich is saying we need Bill Belichick. Okay, here's the situation now. Bengals 4-7. You know, I remember 3 weeks ago, it's like, hey, Bengals just need to go 6-2. Then the next week it was they need to go 6-1. Well, guess what? Now they have to go 6-0. Can they do it? Sure. Will they do it? I think that Joe Burrow will do his part, but I'm going to have to see a little bit from the defense. So, up next is our first game against the Pittsburgh Steelers with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, in case you need a refresher, this guy had a very hot start to his career, right? Went to 2 Super Bowls very early. Even his rookie year, he was very good in the playoffs. And very good quarterback. And then a little bit after that sort of team success, he has the individual success where he's the super accurate passer. He's floating these beautiful passes and considered a top 2 or 3 quarterback for a few years, right? And then he has a little period where he falls off. Okay. Then he goes to the Broncos. He's okay. Comes to the Steelers, and guess what? I mean, you talk about the dream scenario. Russell Wilson on the Steelers. Perfect for both sides. He is flourishing. They had a bad game last week against the Cleveland Browns, but overall, they're trending upward. They have that defense. And so I'm not going to talk too much about that because I don't know nearly as much as John Double-Brain Sheeran. So at least he took a break from being grateful enough to send me this short video that I believe he recorded from his bathroom. That is the kind of dedication that we get from John Double-Brain Sheeran. I'm going to play it for you now.
Wow, this is like the good old days when you guys used to be two-dimensional and Daddy-O wouldn't even show up. I don't have a lot of time, though, so I just got to say what I need to say. I don't really know why the Bengals are favored in this one. Like, yeah, the Steelers dropped a stinker last week in the blizzard against Cleveland, but that's Mike Tomlin's typical doings, right? He always loses to a 2-win team every season, and somehow the Steelers managed to only get 9 or 10 wins on the season. But happening 2 times in a row, 2 weeks in a row, I don't really see that happening. And honestly, it doesn't really happen in the Bengals' favor that often outside of Ryan Finley's magic in 2020. But right now, the Steelers' defense is still elite, and they have a passing game on offense to complement that. Like, I'm sure Hoji has been talking about Russell Wilson's renaissance, how he looks like he did in Seattle. And honestly, it's kind of like the worst fears coming true for the Bengals, right? The Steelers having a decent passing game like they did before Ben Roethlisberger's decline, that can get them to be an actual contender in the AFC, and it's unlocking what George Pickens can do on the outside. He's going to be a mismatch against either Josh Newton or Cam Taylor-Britt. Both are just, I mean, Josh Newton, like, he's talented, but I don't think he's ready to be a starter. And Cam Taylor-Britt is so erratic that you don't know if he's going to have a good or bad game. More likely than not, he's going to look troubled out there against one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. And on defense, the Steelers have TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward. Those guys aren't new, but Nick Herbig is their 3rd best pass rusher, and he's really, really good. He would be the 2nd or 1st best pass rusher on most other defenses, maybe outside of Cincinnati, because they have Trey Hendrickson. But the Steelers' secondary is probably their biggest weakness. I don't think they have the cornerbacks to stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, so maybe the Bengals can keep up in this one, but can they protect Burrow like they need to in order to win these shootout games? Because I think the Steelers' offense is due to kind of bounce back after what they did against Cleveland in the snow, and I think Russell Wilson is playing well enough where he can dice up whatever is this Bengals secondary, because it's not enough.
There you go. So a lot of information there, a lot of it packed in there, but he's right, folks. The Cincinnati Bengals secondary has to do something. I really liked watching that Chargers game, last week, I would say that Josh Newton came in and immediately was an upgrade from Cam Taylor-Britt. I don't know if that says more about Cam Taylor-Britt or about Josh Newton's potential, but I'm an optimist, relatively speaking, to the other co-hosts. So I really want to see what Josh Newton can do. But yeah, it is not a good matchup on paper. Okay, so I'm just going to catch up with these comments here. So many good comments. Yeah, so Searing Cat says, Zach will not admit that anything's wrong. That's true. But, I mean, that's also part of his charm, right? That's why the management likes him so much. He has such a, good company man attitude. And here we go. Victoria Mitchell says, I thought we were going to lose this game beginning of the season, but I think we're going to run the table. Victoria, I want to believe that we will run the table, and I do think it's possible, Burrow. We need, like we saw that second half against the Chargers, we need that every single game, or a little bit closer. We need to stop people, really, to actually win these games, to finish the games. And yes, Mike Tomlin would have been very good with our roster. 16-1. Okay, favorites because we're going to roll the Steelers. Wow, I like that. Hire a real GM, a negotiator, a robust scouting department, and pull Taylor's play guy. Yes, those would be the smart things to do, but they would also cost a lot of money. So I don't see them happening. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Bengals 38 is still. Wow, I like that. John seems trapped in dungeon. Yes, that is true. That is, we rented that place for him. You'd be surprised what you can get for $30 a month. It's amazing. John is optimistic. Okay, here we go. Okay, so everybody wants to hear my prediction. Well, I have seen TJ Watt and the Steelers really bully my guy Joe Burrow in that offensive line. The offensive line is about as bad as it's always been since Joe Burrow has been here. Hasn't gotten any better. And the Steelers really have their best team since Roethlisberger was still a functioning human being. So for all those reasons, I'm predicting that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to pummel the Bengals. They're going to pummel them. They're going to get pummeled on Sunday. And the final score will be 31-21 Cincinnati. That's my prediction. And there we go. So I don't have any co-hosts to say, what do you mean, pummeled? What is that? Well, how are they going to win if they get pummeled? Okay, let me explain. So in the 90s, okay, thank you. No, not mummel, but pummel. Thank you. But still, for a cat, your English is very good. Look, back in the 90s, we had a very, let's say, healthy-looking crowd of people on TV. Okay, very positive body image. And they were always seen as very successful. And they were a sign of health and vitality. And one of those actors on that show, okay, was particularly, let me say, bubbly and bouncy, and had definitely upgraded their lives physically. And that actor's name was Pamela Anderson. Okay, so Pamela Anderson, you say, is what you refer to when you say that person getting pummeled. That means they are looking very healthy and vigorous, like Pamela Anderson. And so the Bengals, they are going to look refreshed and nourished and rested and pummeled when they play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. That is my prediction. Yes, I thank you, Kat. Thank you, Ceiling Cat. The resemblance, I can see it too. Very healthy people going places in their lives. And really, that is about all that we have, unless you really want to. Well, let me just say, first of all, you love the show. Don't forget to also, please, leave us a 5-star review. We only have 36 reviews on the iTunes. You can go to any podcast place and please leave us a review. You can listen on there. We usually, when I have the other co-hosts, we have a little intro with the other guys, a 3 or 4 minute intro that's not on the YouTube channel. So check that out. And also Patreon, you can go and you can listen to all of our songs. So I'm going to put this new song up very soon. If you like this rendition of the Joe Burrow draft, when we got Joe Burrow, that will be on there. And lastly, I know a lot of you are saying that, hey, it's almost Christmas. I haven't gotten any gifts for my family. What do I do? Well, the best thing to do, okay, is to get Bengals gear. I'll tell you why. Whenever the Bengals are losing, I go and stock up on their paraphernalia and their apparel because it's always on sale. And right now, these are not on sale, you might say. But they are if you use my special codes, and I'm talking about, you go to greengridiron.com and use code Bengals1, and you can get a very special discount just in time for the holidays. And here's the thing, with all the computer games and all the weird stuff that these kids like nowadays, you don't know what to get them. Well, the good thing about this is that nephews love these products, as you can see in the reviews, and they like weird stuff, these kids. They don't like your typical, they want something. And so these warning symbols here, these warning stickers, they're the kind of ironic gift that you get a snarky little teenager. And it's only $1.50. I really don't think I could have done a better job of selling. So Ceiling Cat was going to, you should not have to pay rent as a cat. That is not right. I think that there's some sort of violation, the pet, abuse. But Ceiling Cat is paying a lot of rent, and instead of that, this month is going to get a $700 helmet for my nephew. I agree. Because what are they going to do? Evict you? Evict a cat? That's like a Tom and Jerry episode. It never works out for them. But yeah, the Tippity Top wants to get one of those tags. Please do that. The Fool loved tonight's song. Wow. Favorite so far. Thank you, Tippity Top. Very nice of you. And there we go. I think that's really all we have. I would say that was a success, that show. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of it was because of you guys. You guys kept me entertained. You guys gave me a lot to talk about. And it was, I'm so happy that you were in the chat. And that's about it. So everybody out there, just like the rest of my team, don't forget to have a very good Thanksgiving. Be very grateful. And by that, I mean, take a lot of time off from your responsibilities, not just your work. Family, you don't owe anybody. You get to be grateful. You get to focus on you and being grateful. So that is all we have for this show. Don't forget to subscribe. Oh, by the way, Patreon of the week. Same, what is this, 5 weeks in a row for Joseph CTD. Amazing. Great work, Joseph CTD. But you can go to patreon.com and sign up for Patreon and and get all of our songs for free when you become a paid subscriber. We'll see you next time. So long, sweetie. Bye.